run again?
I haven't decided.
You're still thinking about it?
I might.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I've been saying. That's what I closed the book and I'm like, oh, she wants to. She's just thinking about it.
Why? So she can lose again?
I don't know if that's what you intended, but that was my impression.
No, the book is about a specific period in time. There was no agenda beyond what we've discussed already, which is just sharing with people, the reality of the experience, and hopefully allowing people to see something of them.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Hello, hi, it is I, the Robozoid, your semi-likable and occasionally tolerable curmudgeon of both the YouTube and Rumble airwaves. You'll have to pardon me because it's allergy season, and pretty soon, before you know it, the pollen will be here. But in the meantime, we have to talk about this little issue here, and that involves Kamala Harridan, who simply will not stay out of the public eye, even though she lost big time in both the 2020 election and lost again in 2024. Well, actually, I don't think she even got out of the starting gate in 2020, and then she lost major to Trump, and this woman will not shut her mouth. I don't know why she won't stay out of the spotlight, but she just doesn't for some reason. Here I've got a clip of her basically boohoo, whining and crying, bitching and moaning and complaining about the SAVE Act, which actually is a very good thing for America because it's keeping us alive, and also the fact that it is indeed doing what it's supposed to do, save lives. But of course, Kamala Harridan seems to think that it's an attack on married women. I mean, just take a look at this crap and try to get through it with a straight face, or if you want to laugh at it, go right ahead, be my guest.
What else have they done? The SAVE Act. You know what the SAVE Act would do? Require that people show a birth certificate or a passport to register to vote. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but it's something like 40% of Americans don't have those documents. Married women, if you changed your name when you got married, it's going to be different than what's on your birth certificate, right? And what that's going to do in terms of complicating the ability of women to register to vote.
So what?
And so this is happening in real time to suppress and obstruct the ability of people to vote.
I don't care.
And then my concern, frankly, Aaron, is that when we saw what happened in Minneapolis, I think we need to really understand that in addition to everything that was obvious about it, it might have been
more word salad,
a demonstration and a beta testing of militarizing the streets of America
a beta male
to intimidate people against voting, and using federal officials to intimidate people to not
Stop whining.
Now, of course, the Democrats claim that Trump is such an unpopular president, as it were, and the airstrike against Iran was so unpopular. But the truth is, the Democrats are really the unpopular ones because they're the least popular in the polls right now, as it turns out, what with Kamala Harridan actually being at I guess you could say a distant minus 17%, which would be right behind, I think that would be right behind, actually Newscum, who is at minus 18%. And you're going to take a look at these polls. This came from NBC, and they actually took the polls. So they would probably know better right now than anybody else. I mean, maybe even better than Fox Noise. So without further ado, let's get into this NBC poll as pretty much you'll see the truth laid out.
Kamala Harris is at minus 17, Gavin Newscum minus 18, AOC comparatively popular at minus 11, compared with minus 11 for JD Vance and minus 7 for Marco Rubio. Kamala Harris, by the way, is reportedly undecided on whether she's running for president again, but she's definitely keeping her options open. The long profile.
She'd just lose again anyway.
Harris is taking some steps toward a run, but still won't commit either way. Meanwhile, the desire for Kamala is practically non-existent with the Democratic base. No one is demanding that she be foisted on them again. and her most recent foray into politics was a last-minute endorsement of Jasmine Crockett in the Texas Senate primary. Crockett was decisively beaten by James Tallarico, who is now the Dem nominee. Not a winning tactic for poor Kamala Harris. But even so, Harris got a favorable shout-out from a potential 2028 rival, Gavin Newscum, who wrote on X, "This wouldn't have happened under her watch." Her referring to Kamala Harris, and presumably he's talking about the Iran war. And look, it's true that Harris indicated she would have opposed this sort of action, even though the Trump campaign, particularly J.D. Vance, implied it would be Harris, not Trump, who would take the nation to war with Iran. So much for that. Polls like this one from NBC show that no matter how many questionable policies the Trump administration pursues, no matter how many openings they create for Dems by, let's say, hugely increasing the price of gas, the Democratic Party remains toxically unpopular. Americans don't love everything Trump does. They really don't. But they're really,
I don't like
really
the ballroom.
confident they can trust the Dems to govern ever again.
Facts. Absolute facts. I mean, how can you trust the Dems to ever govern again when, quite honestly, they're the ones who raise taxes, which basically means, well, of course, that's not good for the economy. When you're talking about wild spending and raising taxes, which actually weakens the economy. And, of course, well, pretty much raises the taxes, and you've got higher gas prices. You wind up with higher food prices. So, yeah, how can the Dems ever be trusted again when they can't even manage anything at this point? And they have no platform, as you know. No platform whatsoever. Their platform is hate Trump, hate Trump, hate Trump. Everything is all Trump's fault. Trump, 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 Trump. Trump did this. Trump did that. You know, it's Trump's fault that we bombed Iraq. Trump, 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 Trump. They are so one note at this point that honestly, they have nothing to run on. Nothing. They tried pushing the gay agenda. Didn't work. They tried pushing the trans agenda. Americans rejected it. They tried cozying up to BLDM. That really backfired on both of them, on that community and also on the Dems. So really, they've got nothing to run on. And I'm going to show you one last clip here of this one lady here actually interviewing Gavin Newscum about how Mississippi schools are doing a hell of a lot better than California schools. It's just a short little thing. I mean, honestly, it could have been the opening or intro to this video, but I think the Kamala intro makes more sense. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
Nick Kristof of the New York Times recently wrote, Mississippi schools outperform California schools, especially for poor kids. Now, people see that or hear that or read that, and they're like, no thanks, California. No thanks, Gavin Newscum. We're good.
Once again, facts, complete facts. The California school system is a complete failure compared to, let us say, Midwestern states, or what they like to call flyover country states, especially with compared to Mississippi, or compared to, let's say, Alabama, or compared to maybe even Georgia, maybe Florida, maybe even Louisiana. But really, yeah, comparatively, California schools are in the toilet. I mean, it's just, pardon me, that's my cute little way of saying toilet. But they really are, in all seriousness and all candor. California schools really are just completely going down the drain because their lenient policies and, of course, the liberal indoctrination that is going on in California schools. And this is also happening in a lot of the major, well, blue cities that are run by Democrat mayors and states that are run by Democrat governors, where you're seeing the school system just slide down the drain. And honestly, the kids are not learning anything of any value. They're not learning about reading, writing, math, or any of that stuff. They're not learning about art, science, music, history, literature, or poetry. Instead, they're basically learning how to put a condom on a cucumber. They're learning how that transvestitism is acceptable. Not only that, but superior to, well, just regular behavior. They're learning that well, it's okay to be gay. They're learning that all this crap about, acceptance and tolerance, when honestly, their liberal teachers don't even practice it. Practice what you preach, bitches, because that's how it usually works. And, excuse me, it is allergy season, so you'll have to forgive me there. But in any case, you see what's going on here, and you see how Kamala is she's never going to be president, ever. If she already lost twice, once in the primaries and again in the presidential bid, she's never going to be president. And as for Gavin Newscum, nobody wants him, okay? He's not popular. He's not even popular in his own home state. They're rejecting him. They're turning their backs on him. So, really, that's how the whole thing goes. Just like the dog goes woof and the cat goes meow. And that's the way it goes. I certainly hope you enjoyed this video. And, well, if you did, smash that like button. Subscribe to this channel on YouTube. It's pretty much the same deal. Robazoid at Robbie1976. And on YouTube, on Rumble, still the same deal. Robazoid. So, check me out. And, of course, remember that wokeness is weakness. And what else should I say? Well, at the risk of coughing or sneezing because of allergies, I'll just say, hey, be here or be absolutely nowhere else.